Only 5 races remain until we crown a champion, and while Juan Romero has a 31-point gap coming into this race, he is far from winning this championship because anything can happen in these final 5 races. Watkins Glen International, one of the craziest road courses we go to all season long, and it's going to be a wild one here today for the Watkins Glen Grand Prix. 10 laps around the long course, 3.4 miles in length. It's going to be fascinating to see how it all ends up shaking out at the end of the day. It's the Watkins Glen Grand Prix for Sprint Series night in America, here in upstate New York. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to Watkins Glen for the 28th race of the season. Here in the Sprint Series, we are excited for this one. It's the last road course of the season. Leading up to one of our favorite road course races of the season. Maybe not your favorite, Matt, after what happened last year, but we got ourselves a Lake Effect Ice Cream 400K coming up this Saturday at noon Eastern Time. Today, the tune-up race for that one, the Watkins Glen Grand Prix here for the Sprint Series, and it's going to be a fascinating race. We're going to have a cycle of pit stops right around halfway in this race, unlike what we saw at Road America last week when it was near the end of that event. But regardless of the fact, it's still a wild track, and gotta watch for the exit of turn 11. Join alongside Matt Tuck and Philip Torres for the call of this one here. And Matt, I'll start off with you. Obviously, you guys, this is a big race for you and Gradden Autosport. And we know what happened last year when you got taken out early on in that race. So what are you looking for in this race to maybe take into Saturday's race? Only 5 races left to go over there in the Wawa Cup Series.
Well, luckily, this year we have I have a teammate who knows how to drive a race car. That's a nice thing. But I think this will be a very exciting race. Track position's so important here, but we see a lot of passing, and we see a lot of chaos. You don't want to bin it off in turn 11 here, and it should be definitely going to be a very exciting race.
It definitely will. And Philip, of course, you've called one race this season. That was at Circuit of the Americas, another road course. This one is a little bit different, a lot higher speed, and these guys are going to be flying all over the place. What do you expect for these guys here for 10 laps at Watkins Glen?
Well, 10 laps are going to go by very fast due to the fact that these Xfinity cars that these guys are driving are going to be driving a little different from what we're driving in the Cup Series. For certainty, the fact of the matter is the leader, of course, who is maybe on the inside or the outside, doesn't really matter where he starts, will probably take off and just leave the guys in the dust.
We're going to have to see if that ends up happening at the start of this race, and once you know it, we were talking last week about Stuart Cratton and him having a great opportunity to win this race if he signed up. Where was he? Where was he? He didn't sign up, so that gives the outside pole to Brandon Nelson, and that outside pole position is one of the best places to start in this race if you can stay alongside going into turn number 1. But then again, too, the pole sitter can sometimes get that jump coming to the line as well. So it's going to be a very interesting start, and that could very well determine how the rest of the race plays out. But also, you have to be clean on the racetrack as well. And we saw on Monday in the sprints, or in the Elimination Series race, I should say, that outside lane in turn 11, not necessarily the place you want to be. They overshoot that corner quite a bit, and that's always the treacherous spot. And we've seen many races change hands on the last lap here, on that last corner in the past. We'll have to see if that ends up happening again here today. We're going to go ahead and get these guys to roll off here from Watkins Glen International. And we have Dylan Matthews starting on the pole position for tonight's event. And here are the point standings coming into this one. Juan Romero, 31 points ahead of Nathan Faden, and definitely going to be interesting to see if Faden can gain anything on that 87. They start very close to each other in this race here today, with Romero there starting in the 10th position, Faden starting in the 7th. They're right on each other, and that 87 could surpass the 1 on the racetrack here today if Faden is not careful. And Corey Case, 39 points behind, just barely made this race in signups, alongside Juan Romero there in that 5th row. Going to be very interesting to see if he can close in on Romero in this one as well. Brandon Nelson, our outside pole sitter, is 65 behind. Labrito, 79 behind. Masters, 69 behind. Matthews is 70 behind, and Reynolds is 71 behind. If things get really crazy, they have a mathematical opportunity, but it's really down to those top 3. It's Dylan Matthews and Brandon Nelson in row number 1. We got Santiago Labrito and Matt Black, who was runner-up last week at Road America, in row number 2. 57, that is driven by Carson Miller to the inside there of Leonard Kochmer. You got Joey Brown, Nathan Faden there in row number 4. Guanamero, Corey Case, couple of championship favorites here in row number 5. Christian Master alongside Anthony McClure. 80 of Joshua Brown, 53 machine of Duncan Ward this week. We got the 4 machine of BB Ruiz, Chris Reynolds in the 52. Aaron Abel in the 90, the 25 machine of this week driven by Angel. Very great to have Angel back in the field. And you got the 88 of Baltazar Steep, 55 of Skylar Taylor, Josh Petty in the 96. We got the 69 machine this week driven by Emily Bull, her second start of the season. Vinny Scholes is back in the 93, and first time start for Bob Hayward in the 64, the ride that Stewart should have been in, but unfortunately is not. All right, Matt and then Philip, real quick, who do you guys think is going to victory lane here tonight in the Watkins Glen Grand Prix?
Well, he was lightning at Road America and sold late in the going, but I'm going to take Matt Black in the 50 here tonight to get redemption.
That's a pretty good choice, but I'm picking the guy that's right behind the 39 car, the number 5.
Santiago Labrito won at Willow Springs earlier this season. Will he get his second road course win? Will it be Brandon Nelson? Will it be Dylan Matthews? 2 in a row. We're going to find out. Green flag in the air. We're underway at the Watkins Glen International. And just like that, outside lane gets the advantage at the start. That's what we anticipated. And that's what we'll anticipate on Saturday as well. Matt Black, Leonard Kochmer. Of course, Kochmer definitely wants a good run in this race after what happened to him at Road America last week. And Dylan Matthews going to fall to 4th there. That inside lane just has no grip if you're staying alongside in turn 1. And that is definitely the disadvantage of being on the pole here at Watkins Glen. Brandon Nelson out front in the 92. Matt Black, Kochmer, Dylan Matthews, and Joey Brown in a battle with Santiago there for the 5th position.
Yeah, that was an absolutely electric start there from 2nd and 4th place starters of Nelson and Black, jumping our pole sitter in the 39 already. And there was also the 13 of Leonard Kochmer, who's going for 2nd here on this opening lap already. So this jostle position here is very important, especially in just a 10-lap sprint race.
There's a lot of activity back there, like 2 or 3 wide back there and deep in the pack when they were entering that turn through the boot.
They definitely could go side by side for quite a while around this place, and we will definitely see that in the coming races. Probably saw that yesterday in the IndyCar Series race as well. Kochmer might have a shot here on Matt Black for 2nd. Of course, both of these drivers trying to gain some redemption after last week. You know, Matt Black had an opportunity of winning that race. And this right here, that final turn, always a treacherous one, a little wide right there, and Kochmer's going to get the advantage. Matthews in the outside wall, and Kochmer's going to take 2nd away from Matt Black there on lap 1, but it's Brandon Nelson leading the first lap here at Watkins Glen.
This is a very strong opening lap from Nelson in the 92, and then Kochmer also in the 13, starting to see if he can reel in this 92, who's had a lot of speed all year at times. And then the 50, we've seen a bunch of different drivers in that 50 car, but Matt Black really over the past couple of, really feels like the past 2 months or so, has really come along strong, and I'm excited to see if he's going to get an opportunity in the Wawa Cup Series in 2025. And these 3 have pulled away for the rest of the pack. Dylan Matthews was almost 2 seconds back at the line, and they're battling away. I think they're going to fall back even more the rest of this pack.
Well, I understand the 39 hit the wall. I'm surprised that he hasn't gotten handicapped, and he's still going with this new composite body that they're running compared to what we're running as well. These composite bodies are strong.
Didn't hit it too hard, I don't think, and she's going to slip back a little bit. That messes with your momentum as long as you don't completely slam it, and that's why you see that gap from 3rd to 4th right there. So it'll be interesting to see if she can catch up. Of course, got that win, closed in on Matt Black on that final lap. It was actually right there as they were coming off the pit lane for their final pit stop, and was able to make the pass on the last lap. What a battle that was, and hey, this is a place where we can have a great battle as well. I'm watching out for this 13 of Leonard Kochmer. Got the win at Pikes Peak earlier this season. He's definitely a strong driver and got taken out by himself at Road America as Brandon Nelson overshoots, and here we go. Pass for the race lead. Leonard Koshmer takes it away as we head in the lap number 3. And now Matt Black trying to take second away from Nelson. And that right there, we've seen that happen so many times. And we've seen it happen on the last lap quite a bit in the past as well. It's going to be fascinating to see if it happens again. But this 13 of Leonard Koshmer looks really quick out here. We'll have to see if he can pull ahead of Nelson and Matt Black here as we continue on with this race.
Koshmer's been perfect so far. Up through the S is heading down towards the carousel. Still the top 3, but we're starting to see the 39, and Dylan Matthews is starting to slowly reel them back in, which, in order to do that, you have to run some fast laps, which could help Matthews qualifying next race. And Labarito in the 5 has just been also chilling along there. He's moved his way up to the 5th position. This has been, I mean, we haven't even gone to most of the mid-pack yet. This battle up front has been so engaging amongst these top drivers. There's Nathan Faden in the 1. There's Juan Romero, not doing anything, making sure he does nothing to hurt his championship hopes tonight.
And of course, with Faden and Corey Case right there behind him, it's good if they stay in those respective positions, at least for Romero's case, trying to hold on to the well over a race win worth of points lead that he has coming into this race. He does not want to risk losing that, especially with tracks like Michigan and Daytona coming up. And hey, last season in the Sprint Series, Sam and Oskin went into the final race at Darlington with a 10-point lead on Avery Alford and choked it. So, good to have a good buffer going into that final race, no doubt about it. Here we go. Brandon Nelson trying to retake the lead back as Carson Miller way off there in the 57. And we've got, oh no, the leader's just wrecked. Matt Black also got caught up. And here comes Dylan Matthews in the 39, taking the race lead away from 4th position. That's 2 weeks in a row for Leonard Koshmer, overshooting a corner and taking himself out.
Oh my God, AG, I'm in shock right now. What just happened? Like, the leader all of a sudden slipped. Like, either he overdriven the 11th corner and he did not expect himself to hit the wall. Took himself and the 13 car out of the race. That's just crazy.
Wow, that's such a shame there. Especially for Leonard, who was the leader of the race. Brandon Nelson came in, and he's got a bunch of damage in that 92. That's going to hurt Nelson. Matt Black took a bit of a shot as well, so we'll have to see if he's going to have to repair that damage, but it's just like Road America all over again. It's Dylan Matthews and Matt Black up front in this race. Labarito, these guys are going to have an advantage on Nelson with the damage that he has. And Santiago Labarito looking to get around this 92, but Carson Miller, you know how aggressive he was. He was sliding it off at turn 10 that last lap. My goodness, how things can change in one lap here at Watkins Glen. And Matt, you know exactly what that's like, considering what happened here last year in the Wall Cup Series.
No, I mean, you'd be surprised what people can do to completely forget how to drive a race car around this racetrack. And perhaps I didn't quite catch it fully, but Brandon Nelson might have forgotten how to drive his race car there. We'll see post-race. You guys saw on the screen, but time is but a flat circle, and we leave Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin at America's Road, and it's the 39 and the 50, and then we come here to the Finger Lakes region, and it's the 39 and the 50 out front. I am curious, though, how much damage that 50 car took, though, because if he took any damage, it's going to...
And now Dylan Matthews is wide, and we're 4 laps into this race, and we've had 4 different leaders. Matt Black now out front in the 50, and Nelson's coming down the pit lane. No surprise there. Joey Brown is also down, Anthony McClure is also down in the 05. I don't know if that's a strategy call or not, because these guys have a fuel window right about halfway in this race, a little bit past halfway. And most of these guys are going to be coming down next time by. What a race it has been, and we may have another lead change here because Matt Black just went wide through the S's, and Dylan Matthews going to have a bunch of speed down the backstretch here.
I think what the 50 should do is not overreach, which he almost threw away right there on coming off the S's. So a lot of these rookies have to understand when you race these Xfinity cars, the Cup cars are going to drive totally different.
Of course, Matt Black has made a lot of starts this season. He has 6 top 10s and 8 starts here in the Sprint Series this year, which is great. As Joey Brown in the 02, that looks like a mechanical issue and might be a tire on that 02 machine, and he is slowing down. Thankfully, all the championship contenders have gotten around him, but I don't think he's going to be able to get back around, and hopefully all these guys clear him before anything drastic happens, and Joshua Brown just got into him, and Aaron Abel, Josh Petty also get caught up. And of course, on the road course, no yellow flags. This place can be treacherous, and it has definitely been treacherous for a bunch of these guys today. BB Ruiz as well is on the pit lane, and these guys are still on each other. Dylan Matthews trying to get on the outside of Matt Black right here, trying to retake that lead, and Santiago's right back in here, and here we go. I think these guys are going to be coming down the pit lane right here, and they will be. So Matt Black going to lead them down as the race leader right at halfway here in this Watkins Glen Grand Prix. Christian Master going to stay out there. Corey Case staying out as well. And Corey Case, he's trying to gain on Romero and Faden in the points, and him staying out may give him an advantage. We'll have to see how it ends up shaking out. We're going to follow with our race leaders here and see how it goes. Halfway through this Watkins Glen Grand Prix, Matt Black's going to take the left side tires. I believe it might be a 4-tire stop for a lot of these guys. And it will be for Matt Black in the 50. He's got to be careful with Labrita right ahead of him on the pit lane right there. Not necessarily the best spot to be in. But he's going to be able to get around him. Yeah, and he's going to get around Dylan Matthews. Matthews might have some damage to repair, which is holding her up on the pit lane. Faden was able to jump Romero right there, at least by 1 position. First 1 point really isn't going to make that much of a difference at this point in the season for Faden in terms of the championship, but pretty solid run for Faden. And Matt Black in the 50 may finally get the redemption and may get his first career win on the channel here tonight. But he's got to be careful not to overshoot himself. He's been one of the few guys who has led in this race who has not done that here tonight. Race leader right now, Christian Master. Duncan Ward, the 99 of Corey Case, Skylar Taylor, Vinny Scholes. Leonard Kochmer is still yet to come down the pit lane. Bob Hayward in the 64, and the 80 of Joshua Brown was caught up in that accident with Joey Brown. They have yet to come down the pit lane. They'll be coming down this time by. They don't have to put as much fuel in because they can easily make it from here to the finish of the race, and we'll have to see if they gain any advantage on those who just came down.
Yeah, that's an interesting strategy call here. Overcuts don't traditionally work here unless Christian Master just put in the hot lap of his life. But he also has a little bit of a problem, too. I don't know how he did it, but the 50 of Matt Black.
Skylar Taylor couldn't get in.
Man.
And that's going to block Kochmer and the 64. He just went a little too wide. And my goodness. Now, I'm gonna preface this by saying we're running 102% strength for this race. We're running 101 for the Cup Series. Since it's a longer race and more cars in the field, they have definitely taken advantage of that 102% strength here today. I'll tell you that much. That's a shame for Skylar Taylor. Just had a terrible entry and could not get down in time and hit the pit road wall. We've seen it all in this race so far, Philip.
Yes, we have, and I was in shock when she didn't count her entry in slower because she was alongside with another competitor and she just slammed the sand bales like to the absolute limit.
Nathan Faden here in third right now, which is pretty solid considering that Juan Romero a little bit further behind. Romero has a bit of damage to the left side of his car. He probably got into it there. So Faden, at the way they run, would bring it in to about 27, 26 points going in the Richmond next week. There's still a chance for Nathan Faden to win the Sprint Series Championship. And we're going to have to see if he can inch ever so closer in these final 4 races. But Carson Miller, got to give him a lot of credit. He's run a very clean race. Anthony McClure is currently in the 4th position. Remember, he undercut right there. He came down on lap number 4, and he gained a considerable amount of time on all those around him. Christian Master not too shabby either. Dylan Matthews, of course, she ended up having to stay on the pit lane for an extended time to repair damage. She fell back there. Man, these guys have just been all over the place here today. Vinny Scholes trying to make a move here on the 25 of Angel Olvera. And we got a lot of movement back here. Chris Reynolds on Corey Case. Corey Case has actually fallen off a little bit from Romero. Not exactly what he wants. He's 39 behind Romero into this race, and it'll be more if it stays the way it currently is. Corey Case's chances may be running out right here. All right, coming to 3 laps to go here in the Watkins Glen Grand Prix for Matt Black in the 50. Carson Miller trying to close in. Nathan Faden also knows he's got an opportunity at some points here, so we'll have to see what he ends up doing. Oh, and Carson Miller. Man, these guys are just ripping it off the exit of turn 11 here today. It is crazy out there.
Yeah, Carson Miller sees that 50 car soaring off into the distance, dives it down into turn number 1, all the way down that heavy banking braking zone there. And I good luck catching the 50 with the pace he's shown this past couple of weeks. And he's gone. I don't know how he must not have gotten that much damage in that incident for him to be able to fly away like this. Because if he had any more, he would have sat on pit road longer. But this has been an impressive drive by him and an impressive drive by Faden and Carson Miller today.
Ooh. And there goes Faden for second place on Carson Miller. That's another point for the one machine, and he's got to run a clean race now, so he doesn't risk losing any more points to Juan Romero. Right now, he's gotten himself about a 5-point gain on that 87. And that would bring him to 26 points going into Richmond. If he wins this race and Romero finishes where he is, that's going to be closer to probably about 22, 23 points. So Faden really wants to get this win, but he's also got to be careful and run a clean race not to risk his runner-up finish. And Matt Black, he might finally get one here in this 50 machine. A great run for him here. So he got around Dylan Matthews in that exchange. And now he's starting to pull away from the field here with a near 4-second lead here, coming to 2 laps to go at Watkins Glen.
A lot of young guys trying to make their own decisions, trying to make the... Oh, look at the slip up there. Well, I know these guys are pushing it to keep up with the 50, but and the one hit the wall. Hey, AG, I don't know, man. I think your truth just came into play. Don't blow it.
Yeah, he lost a spot there to Carson Miller, so he's got to be careful. Of course, Miller got to the inside of him naturally, and he got stuck on that outside going through 11. And there's just no grip up there, and these guys really try to push it through the corner a lot more than they're able to. But Matt Black, he's not overdoing it right now, and that has helped him out tremendously, and he's got a huge cushion between him and Carson Miller. And Matt Black, once again, hey Matt, if he wins this race, guess which car he drives at Watkins Glen on Sunday, or on Saturday, I should say.
I have no idea what car out there could he possibly drive. Is he going to drive the TP Motorsports machine this weekend?
Well, they don't have a hot seat because they weren't good enough last year.
Oh no! Oh no!
No offense to Tanner Parton. That is not Tanner's fault by any stretch of the imagination, if you understand that whole run right there. Hey, we could do some good stuff in a rut racing car. I'm sure of that, Philip. Of course, you're leaving Philip for Herr Motorsports next year, which is also a pretty solid team. So excited to see what you do going into the next season. But we've also got Matt Black, who is looking to finally get his first career win. And not only does he have 6 top 10s in his 8 starts, he has 5 top 5s. He has been in the Cup Series pretty much nearly every week that he's been running here in the Sprint Series. And as long as he runs a clean lap here, it's going to happen again for him. Matt Black's got to be careful not to overshoot it, and he's in the wall. He just took himself out. No. He just took himself out. Will he be able to get back going? It's Carson Miller now taking the white flag here at Watkins Glen. And he's going to lose a spot in the Cup race because of that. White flag in the air for Carson Miller and Andrews Racing here at Watkins Glen. And now Nathan Faden has a shot here. Romero also looks like he overshot and fell back in the 87 machine. And he is going to lose some ground. And now the race is on. Will Nathan Faden be able to close in on Carson Miller on this last lap here at Watkins Glen?
Second week in a row, Matt Black had a victory right there. And it was snatched from the grass, but this time he snatched his own victory away on his own doing, an overshot turn 11, and now it's Nathan. This is unbelievable tonight.
And like I said, it won't quite be quite like this on Saturday, because the strength that we're going to run is going to be % lower, and that 1% makes all the difference. Monday's race in the Elimination Series was run on 101. This is 102. 1% makes that difference. But also these guys running GNS physics, so little wilder for these guys than it is in the Cup physics, Philip.
Yes, the Xfinity cars have... Basically, it's different because due to the fact in the Cup Series, our grill openings open all the way, and these guys have to understand setup wise. They have to understand don't like overdrive the car so much in the road course, short tracks, anywhere they go to. Especially when you're coming over to our division, which my choice, which is the 50 car, was supposed to be running the 20, just eliminated himself from the winning of the race. So
well, we'll see if Carson Miller eliminates himself. One more corner, and he's a little wide himself. He's in the wall.
Oh, no!
Will that be enough for Fame to close in? It's not. Carson Miller survives it and wins the Watkins Glen Grand Prix, and Matt Black just barely misses out on a hot seat ride as he finishes 5th. Faden will finish 2nd. Juan Romero finishes in 8th. That's 6 points. That's 25 points going into Richmond next week for Nathan Faden and his chance to close in on Juan Romero. But it's a first career win for Carson Miller in the 57. And Andrews Racing, John Andrews, the owner of this team, goes to victory lane in the Sprint Series once again. I think that's only his second now. His 3rd win of the season. Olvera wanted a new Smyrna. Corey Case was driving this at Daytona. And now it's Carson Miller going to victory lane here at Watkins Glen in the Raising Cane's machine. How about that? What a race that was. Nathan Faden, Anthony McClure, his 2nd Cup start, and Christian Master will be in the Lake Effect Ice Cream 400K on Saturday as well. Leonard Kochmer with the fastest lap. Of course, we all know what happened to him earlier on in the race right there, but assuming he signs up, he's got the pole for Richmond, which is solid right there. Dylan Matthews, Santiago, and then the 52 of Chris Reynolds. Take a look at the rest of the fastest laps running right there. And everyone who returns next week for the Richmond race, the River City 150, that is how they will line up in that one on the short track. What a turn of events we saw in this one, and guys, both of you are going to be in that race at Watkins Glen on Saturday. I'm going to just say, both of you had solid runs at Road America. That's all I'm going to say about the Road America race. So what are you guys looking for in the Watkins Glen Cup race? Because it's going to be a little different than one these guys had, but you know how it can be here at Watkins Glen, and you got to be on your toes each and every lap.
Well, it's going to be very exciting. I mean, we saw last year things could turn in the brink of a moment. I don't think we'll have that problem this year, so it should be quite fun. And we had the speed last year to go for, I think, what would have been a double top 5 at the minimum. So I will say on our side, I'm quite looking forward to seeing what me, Ladovic, and Carson can do this weekend. I think it's going to be great things are coming.
I mean, I had my fair share racing in the Sprint Series with the next gen car, and I fell in love with it because the strength of the car, the strength of the body is so awesome, just like the Xfinity cars that we just seen here. I got a good feeling me and Matthew Hubert are gonna probably be up there tangling. Well, I wouldn't say tangling. I would be aiming for winning the race, but I don't know, Matt. What you think?
We'll find out. We'll find out.
You guys are seeing the starting lineup right now on your screen. Of course, you guys will see that later on when this does, in fact, go up. But my goodness, what a race we had here at Watkins Glen. And like I said, shouldn't be quite to that level of craziness, but we wanted to have some fun with this race, so I notched it up 1%, and that's all it took for one of the wildest races of the year here in the Sprint Series. Carson Miller gets it done in the Watkins Glen Grand Prix. Well, a huge thanks to Matt Tuck and Philip Torres for joining me for the call of this one, and we'll see you guys on Saturday for the Cup race. 19 laps here at Watkins Glen, 2 cycles of pit stops as well, so it's going to be crazy, but we'll have to see how it ends up shaking out. And hey, those road course races are huge wild cards. Kind of saw that play out a little bit last week at Road America. We'll see it play out again, and then it's 4 races after Watkins Glen in the Wawa Cup Series chase at Richmond, Michigan, Daytona, and then the finale at Darlington. So it's going to be fascinating to see how it all ends up shaking out. It's going to be a good one. Well, congratulations to Carson Miller on his race victory here at the Watkins Glen Grand Prix, and here are the points for the Herr Sprint Series after 28 races. Only 4 more races to go here in the Sprint Series. And Nathan Faden only going to be 26 behind Juan Romero. Now 25 behind Juan Romero, heading into Richmond next week. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.